Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about Uvalde, Texas. Now, you guys know that I think it was now over 2 months ago that there was a shooting at Robb Elementary, sorry, in Uvalde, Texas. And there was a lot of people talking about that incident, who was to blame, specifically around the police and how they handled the situation. Well, I wanted to, in the words of Jen Psaki, circle back on Uvalde because there has been an interesting development with this particular, I guess you could say, case. So, a law firm, I believe the law firm is named Bonner and Bonner, has so they're reporting that a $27 billion class action lawsuit has been filed. But if you go onto the Bonner and Bonner website, they are stating there that they are contemplating filing a class action lawsuit. So I wanted to come on here to talk about this because I thought it was an interesting topic. I don't really have too much detail around it right now, obviously, because it is a pending lawsuit. But I definitely wanted to put this information out here because I don't know how many people actually are aware of this. So I'm going to read a little quick article and then I'm going to take a look at the Bonner and Bonner law page because they have a specific section regarded to Uvalde. So I wanted to read that so you guys can understand exactly what it is they are filing this class action lawsuit over. So this particular article was on KENS 5, which is, I believe, a local news station. And they posted an article on August 24th that stated a California based law firm signaled its intentions to name several agencies as defendants in a massive class action lawsuit set to be filed following the botched law enforcement response to Robb Elementary shooting in May. So it says the law firm of Bonner and Bonner, which is representing victims and their families in the case, provided Uvalde CISD Superintendent Hall Harrell and other school trustees with a notice of claim at Monday evening's school board meeting. City council members were served with the same notice Tuesday evening, and Uvalde County commissioners are expected to be served Wednesday. The firm says it plans to give notice to the Texas Department of Public Safety, the federal government, and possibly the FBI. They state, "We do not want to leave any victim behind," attorney Charles Bonner told KENS 5. The notice states the firm will be seeking $27 billion for the claimants. That's huge, huge, alleging numerous failures on the part of the district and law enforcement that contributed to the physical and psychological injuries of the victims. "We wanted a number that would approximate the harm that has been caused," Bonner said, adding, "The high damage amount is meant to send a message to other law enforcement agencies and gun makers." So I want to stop right there because I want to read what it says on the Bonner and Bonner website, which if you want to go to it, it's Bonner, BONNER law.com. They're also representing, it looks like the Buffalo, New York shooting at Tops Groceries. They have a tab here for Uvalde and then Kaiser payroll discrepancies. So they're kind of a boutique law firm, but it seems like they take on some pretty interesting cases here. They specialize in things like civil rights, mediation, personal injury, sexual harassment, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there's a form here on this page that if you want to, it's called their intake form. If you want to be contacted by them or considered to be a part of this lawsuit, you can fill out this form. So it's probably something that they're wanting to take, obviously the basics of your information and, who else in your family is going to be joining the suit with you if you are involved in it. Were you at Robb Elementary? Were any of your relatives at Robb Elementary? Were any of your relatives a victim of the shooting? Do you know anyone else who has a relative who was a victim? Do you have any other information? I mean, I was reading this intake form and I'm like, damn, like I could be like, yeah, I know, I kind of know somebody there, I want to be in this class action lawsuit. It says we are contemplating a class action lawsuit against all responsible parties. The class will consist of all victims, including the deceased, the injured children, the parents, and all children and teachers and individuals on the school premises at the time, along with all family members who witnessed this tragedy. The defendants will include, but are not limited to, gun manufacturers, gun sellers, social media, the police who failed to enter the school for 77 minutes, which we know that's not true. I mean, they were in the school almost immediately. The state of Texas for putting out false information to the victims' families, and the FBI who approved the sale of these weapons to this 18-year-old who had a history of domestic violence and who telegraphed his intentions on social media. So here's my thoughts about this. I don't really disagree with, holding all these people responsible. And I hope, and, they did say that they served members of the school board, because, my big thing was, for the longest time, we were harping on the police and the police and the police and the police. And yes, there were things that the police, didn't do, in a lot of people's opinions, correctly. Do I feel like they did it maliciously, or they just didn't care, the way some people, falsely misreported? No, I do not believe that. I believe they were highly unprepared for a situation of this magnitude, but I'm not going to go into that. I'm not an expert on policing, so I'm not going to talk about that part. But two questions about this potential class action lawsuit. $27 billion is a lot of money, right? But when you take into account all the people that they're going to include into this class action lawsuit, and their fees as a lawyer, right? So every time somebody wants to talk to them, there's a fee. Every time they have to go to court, anytime they have to do work on it, if anybody's ever retained a lawyer, lawyers cost a lot of money. They get paid by the hour, and it is a lot of money. So obviously, all those costs get deducted from the final winnings, which I do believe they're probably going to win a lot of these different lawsuits that they're gonna put, because that's just the way those things go. But the fact that they're reaching out to everybody and their mother to join in this class action lawsuit is going to leave these poor people with nothing. Meanwhile, these lawyers are going to get extremely wealthy, dragging this case on and on and on as they pursue some type of justice for the victims and their families, and people that knew their families, and people that knew the families, and you get the point. As far as going after gun manufacturers, gun sellers, here's my problem with that, okay? I read the report where they took the statement from the people that worked at the gun store, where this kid had gone with his, I think, father or somebody, his uncle on a few occasions, or his grandfather, and also went on his own. And, their report was this kid looked kind of odd. He looked like a school shooter type. That's actually how they described him. However, when you apply for, to purchase a weapon, you fill out a form, that is, a background check. And that's meant to, make sure that you don't have any legal reasons why you shouldn't own a firearm, right? So in this particular situation, at the time that this kid applied, nothing came up on his background check. He passed it, okay? There's nothing in the law that I know of that says if you kind of look weird, that they can discriminate, based on how you look. I don't know if they can do that. And if they did, I would think they'd be opening themselves up to all sorts of legal ramifications if every gun store were to be like, well, if you don't look right to me, or if I don't, if I look deep into your social media and I don't like what I see, I'm going to be a little bit concerned. That I don't know. I mean, I don't think that that's something that exists on the law books today. However, that's obviously, part of the gun laws that they want to pass, that, with this whole people who are part of the MAGA community are now being deemed as terrorists. Well, that's a little bit unfair, because we're not terrorists. And, I probably would put a lot of money on it that if you look back at people that are considered to be MAGA, and put them up against, people that are part of BLM or Antifa, it'd be pretty safe to say that the other side looks a little bit more radical than the MAGA side. So there's that part of it. So I'm not quite sure how they can go after the gun manufacturer, considering from what I read, the gun manufacturer and gun seller did everything by the book. Now, social media. Social media one is going to be interesting to me because this kid did post a lot of stuff on social media. And personally, me being on social media, I can, put a meme up or a post up or even a word up, and my account can get deleted or, get a strike against it. Or some type of warning where I can't go live or I can't do whatever, merely because of something that I post that they don't like. So if they're watching me and the words that I say, which aren't that terrible, I'm saying things like the V is BS and masks are BS. But anyways, we're not going to go into that. But yeah, I mean, this one will be interesting because, the social media platforms are protected against that Section 230 law, right? So I don't know how they're going to get out of that. But at any rate, there's a lot of people named in this suit, this potential suit. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes for sure. But let me know what you guys think about this. If there's some information that I'm missing from here, if this is kind of developed a little bit more, let me know. Drop a comment. Were you aware of this? Do you think that this is a good thing that they're doing this? I'm kind of in the middle, right? Because I like that they're not just pointing the finger at police, because I feel like there was a lot of things that failed in this situation. To include the shooter himself and the environment that he was raised in, real quick, I'm not going to go into it too much, but, I was watching, the Parkland shooter trial, sentencing trial. And when you listen to that, it's almost the same situation. This kid had, a terrible upbringing. There were lots of signs along the way and lots of people who observed a lot of concerning things with this kid, and nobody reported it. Nobody did anything about it. So, while it's nice to, after the fact, talk about holding people accountable, what about before a tragedy happens, holding people accountable? The problem is that now we live in a world where you can't question anything. Yet they want a gun manufacturer or a gun seller to look at somebody and physically judge them on their appearance. But, I can't say if you are a dude with a beard and you're wearing lipstick, 6-inch heels, and, dangling chandelier earrings, I can't be like, something is seriously wrong with you. I can't do that, right? Because I have to be accepting of you and who you are. So there's a lot of discrepancies in that ideology, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think in the comments box below. I'm interested to see if this actually becomes a lawsuit, how many people are involved in this class action lawsuit. It's probably going to take years and years and years and years before these people see any money, if they even see any money. And if they do, I'm willing to bet it's not going to be a whole lot. But that's all I have for you today. And if I find out anything else, I'll be back with more detail. Thank you guys so much and have a good one. Bye-bye.